Hey everybody, I recently replaced the lighting on my Purple Spotted Gudgeon Tank here, and what I replaced it with was T8 replacement retrofit LED tubes that I got from Walmart. They were the Great Value brand, and I put a 5000K tube in the forward area, and I put a 2700K tube in the rearward area. And the next day, the tube in the back was burned out, or not working for some reason. So I checked, and it did appear to be that the ballast in the fixture had burned out. So I went and got one of my other aquarium fixtures, and I cannibalized the ballast out of it. It was the exact same ballast, same model number and everything. So I put that into the fixture, and I put the bulb back in, and everything was fine. And I came back and it was out again about an hour later. So something's going on with that bulb. It's burning those ballasts out, and I'm not going to go through any more of those. I think I can probably go online and find some replacement ballasts and get those fixtures working again if it's financially worth it. I did look at the price of new fixtures, and they're pretty expensive. So if I can get a ballast for a few dollars off of some electronics site or something like that, it'll be worth getting those fixtures repaired that way. In the meantime, I went and got a replacement tube that is 18 inches because I've got several of these 18-inch fixtures as opposed to these 24-inch fixtures. These are actually a 3-foot fixture, but it takes a 24-inch tube, whereas the 24-inch fixture takes an 18-inch tube. And so Walmart does also carry the 18-inch tubes. And so I got a 2700K 18-inch, and I figure, well, that's better than nothing. Let's go ahead and get it set up and get it in the back there. And I went in and I got my camera, and when I came in, I heard like a weird fuzzy popping gurgling sound. And I looked over and saw a bunch of flickering lights, and smoke was coming up out of the unit, and it stinks like burning electronics. So I think what happened is the chips are burning up in here, and I don't know why. This fixture in the front is the same type of fixture. It's got the same kind of ballast. It's got everything is the same, and I put a tube in there, and I haven't had a moment's trouble with it since the first time I put it in there. This rearward fixture, I've now gone through 2 tubes. You know, I went through that first tube that was the 24-inch tube. That burned up 2 ballasts, and as far as I know, I don't have any more 24-inch fixtures, so I don't have a way to test to see if that tube even still lights. But I did go out and I bought a replacement tube that's 24 inches, and I can't get that to light in any of my fixtures. So I'm pretty sure the other fixture is burned out. And the other fixture I have is like an under cabinet, and I'm not even sure if it has a ballast in it. I don't think it functions the same way. So it may simply not function with these types of tubes, because I did put the brand new 24-inch tube in there, and that did not light either. So again, that could be because that type of fixture doesn't work. Although I did have them in that fixture working before, now that I'm thinking about it, so I bet it burned that fixture out too. So I don't know what to make of this. I've burned out several fixtures with these tubes, yet they claim to be compatible with all sorts of different ballasts and quick start ballasts and instant start and all that. And yet I've got one that's just burning bright and looking good and doing its thing, but every other one seems to be burning out my fixtures and burning themselves out. So I'm reluctant to even try to put this in another fixture in case it's the fixture that was burned out. When I saw that smoke and everything, and the smoke was increasing rapidly, I hit the switch, turned it off, and then went ahead and unplugged it just to de-energize it permanently. So I don't know whether I didn't roll it over, so I couldn't see whether the individual diodes themselves were fizzing and burning up. If you overpower a diode, it'll burn. It'll cook itself. It'll burn up like a fuse. It can burn up like a flash bulb. It just depends on what kind of overcurrent you run through it. If you only slightly overcurrent, it'll heat up and like burn, and you can actually catch them on fire if you don't have the compatible hardware to go with, you know, compatible driver and everything. So I'm not entirely sure if these tubes were meant for these kind of aquarium fixtures. Again, the one we've got up front seems to be working well. No issues there. So I'm going to tinker around with it a little more and see what I can come up with. I would just go ahead and get the 4-foot shop lights. I've got LED shop lights everywhere down here on all of my larger tanks. But these 40 breeders, I really like the size of them. I like the 3-foot width. I like the 18-inch depth. They're a nice footprint. They're a big tank without taking up too much space. But accessories for them, you know, go try to find a hood that fits on one of these tanks. Go try to find lights that fit on one of these tanks. It's not as easy. And so if I had a 4-foot shop light, it would hang over, you know, 6 inches on either side. And now I could tape off the ends and block the light from shining down and whatnot. I've done that before, but again, you've still got a shop light that's, you know, hanging over on both ends, and it just does not look right having a big old shop light sitting on top of a tank like this. And of course, the other issue is the depth of the tank. That's why I have 2 fixtures on it. I have a forward fixture and a rear fixture, because that 18-inch depth, one fixture just doesn't cut it. As you can see, you know, I've got a fixture. It's kind of in the middle of the tank. It's on the forward panel, but if I put it right in the middle of the tank, the tube would be right above where the seam is. So I have to put it either a little towards the rear, or I have to put it a little towards the fore. And in this case, of course, I put it a little towards the fore so that we can see the fish when he swims up near the surface, and see, you know, when he feeds. There it is right there, by the way, if you haven't been able to spot him hiding in the bushes. He's doing his thing, as active as ever, just sitting up in that top left-hand corner. That's all he does until food goes in the tank. So I'll do a feeding video on this tank one of these days. I promised long ago I would do a feeding video on this tank of him actually coming up out of the water. And, you know, I've had him bite my finger. He'll take, you know, shrimp out of my finger sometimes, like out of the air. I can hold the shrimp an inch above the water, and he'll jump out of the water and grab it sometimes. So we'll see if I don't ever get around to getting a tripod set up and propped up and all that kind of stuff, and we'll see if we can't get a video of that someday. So make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss all of the ongoing saga of my aquarium lighting, trying to get this tank sorted out. It hasn't been properly lit for quite a while now, but we will get there in the end, and I will certainly keep you updated on any progress I make with figuring out what's going on with these Walmart Great Value brand LED retrofit T8 tubes. I really like them so far. I'm not knocking them. I'm just keeping everybody up to date, just because I'm having some weird issues going on. This is exactly that. It's weird issues. It's clearly not like I'm just getting defect after defect after defect. I'm not doing something right, or I'm using the wrong kind of ballast, or something's going on here. So I'm going to keep looking into it. And as I said, if you're subscribed, you won't miss it. Or anything else I got coming up. So thanks again for watching this one. Don't forget, this one is my Purple Spotted Gudgeon Tank, and I will see you real soon on the next one.